Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for watching this. My name is Elise Wong. I'm one of the creators of Glyph Machina, and this video is to teach you how to use the tool, but also to give a little bit of the reasoning behind it so that you know how it is working and you can make the best choice for you for how to use it. So on the front page, we have the full instructions, which is basically everything I'm going to tell you, an About Us page, and then the tool. So if you click through to the tool, you get this page and it asks you to upload an image file. For many of you, this might be from the Anglo-American legal tradition, which is the incredible digitization of many of the National Archives medieval legal records. That is what this tool is trained on. So those will work best. But any medieval legal records from England during this time that are in Latin should work. So you can just upload any any manuscript file. You can take one that you've taken yourself. Right now, I'm going to go to the AALT website and take one from there. So I thought we'd use this one. As you can see, this is just one 633. This is membrane 101, if you want to follow along at home. One way that you can do this is use the native crop within the tool, or you can crop it yourself on your computer. So let's just save this image to the desktop. Okay, so it's saved there, and then you can go back here and upload that, just drag it in and upload it here. Let's say we want to do this second case. And I will say that when you have a long membrane like this, you need to do this case by case. You can't do the whole page. The model does not accommodate that. So you have to choose a chunk of text, and it should be in a roughly flag shape, so longer than it is tall, like this. You can see I've also cropped out the marginalia. The model does not accommodate marginalia yet. We are trying to build a better lineation system so that it will, but at the moment it gets confused by marginalia. So make sure that you're cropping that out. So then you say crop the image. You can also just do this crop on your computer, which is honestly what I usually do. And then you press identify lines. And this is so that it can identify all of the lines that have text on them. And often it is good with interlineation, but sometimes it misses it, especially if it's small, like this day here. So we're actually going to have to add that one. And so then you say edit lines, and you can draw an extra line here. So you want to click at the inflection points like that, and then say finish line. And if you have any other lines that are badly drawn or perhaps don't go all the way to the end, you can edit them as well. So you can select and move them. Like this bottom one, you can move it up and down, side to side. This is actually pretty well drawn. You want it right at the baseline for the letters. But you can also say that one is completely wrong. You can delete it. And then you can draw a new line, which again, you want to just click at the inflection points. I'm not dragging, I'm clicking, and then you say the finish to finish the line. Make sure if you have changed the lines that you save them, but you can also cancel the edit if you don't want to keep that. So let's say save the lines. If you know how to use an XML editor, you can download the lines file and do that yourself, or you can just you can do the lines before you upload it. If you have something with lots of interlinear stuff, or you want to draw in the marginalia yourself, you can do that. I myself am not technically competent enough to do that, but if you are, then you can download the lines file and then upload it back here. So then we extract the text, and this uses the model that we built.
This model combines aspects of convolutional neural networks, CNN, with long short-term memory networks, LSTM. So the CNN portion breaks the image into smaller pieces and evaluates each piece for dark and light patterns. Then the LSTM portion determines what combination of dots and lines and swoops correspond to which letters. The data we gave it matched these letter formations to expanded transcriptions. What this means is that it will perceive PLCTO, but it will give you Plakito. We trained the model on transcriptions our team did by hand of 4,000 lines drawn from a variety of hands and records, and it's given us an average of an 87% accuracy. This means that it does make mistakes in almost every transcription, though we have noticed that these mistakes are often the same ones a human might make, like misreading a proper name. You can see it did a pretty good job on that first line, though you and I might have capitalized the P here because it is a proper noun. It did mistake the Cecilia, the CI, for an A here. And that's something that can be caught by the next step, which we built in. It's called the spell and grammar check. So this step works like a modern spelling and grammar check. It works off of probabilities. So if it sees a word that it finds very unusual or it's never seen before, it will replace it with a more common word. In many cases, this is great because it will catch problems like this Cecilia, and it will correct it because Cecily is a very common name. It's seen that before. But it might also introduce mistakes. And so you kind of have to be on the lookout for that as you are going through this extra step. And you have to be aware that it's not looking back at the manuscript. It's not doing some sort of finer grained analysis of the manuscript. It is just working off of probability. So it tends to add about, we've found, a 3 to 4% accuracy to it. But you always have to compare it back to the extracted text. And once you press the button, it's gonna take a while. Be patient, don't refresh. While we're waiting, I thought I'd show you some manuscripts that could give you problems. So this is an example. The biggest problem with this is that it's just too long. You can't do all of this at once. But you can also see that the spacing between the lines is different for each part of the case. And so you might want to take this top part and do that separately from the bottom part. You could even do the bottom part in two pieces. In this case, you've got a couple different hands going on, and in this case, I would do this in 2 or even 3 pieces.
See, okay, so it has finished its spell check. It did catch the Cecilia mistake, and it caught it throughout. It'll also regularize a little bit of the grammar, which can be helpful and not, right? Because sometimes you want to retain the grammatical mistakes that some of these scribes make. Other times you just want to be able to read what it says. And so the spell check can be helpful for that. And then this last step is really just because we have people on the team, especially on the technical side, who don't know Latin, but they've spent the last 2 years of their lives working on this project and they wanted to know what we were actually talking about. And so we added an extra contemporary English step. This isn't meant to be used for research, but we thought they should be able to see what they were working on. And it's also kind of nice if you are just learning how to use these manuscripts to have a tool that can give you a starting point, but it's certainly not meant to be authoritative in any way. It's basically Google Translate. And so there you can see that it has done the translation. And then the other tool we have here is you can compare any two steps. So usually I will compare closely the corrected text with the extracted text. So this is the one that the model produced, and this is the spell checked one. And you really want to look and see what it has changed and see if you agree with it. So, you can see that they've changed the Cecilia. You might then go back to the manuscript. If you didn't see that originally, you can see, oh, okay, yes, I can see how the model got that, but I can also see that the spell check corrected it. And so this allows you to compare any two stages of the process. And at any point, you can also click download all files, and it will give you a zip file of everything that you have uploaded all together so that you can have those to look at your leisure. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching. You can also, if you have any questions, email me, elwang@fullerton.edu, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much.